and pull it forward a little bit more. There we are. That's better. Good morning, all of you lovely people on this Monday morning. Welcome back to your yoga mat after a couple of weeks. Onwards we go. Today's practice is really a stretch and tone practice. And within that, I do want to kind of bring that quality of relaxation within the practice. If you remember back to those couple of weeks ago, we're really looking at our perception of ourselves in a way as we stretch, and how we can do that without really paying too much attention to it, but also then on the opposite side of the spectrum, how when we bring that quality of mindfulness, we notice all sorts of things in how we go about the actions of the body, as it were, and how, well, the energy in a way that we infuse into those actions. And so today we're really setting intention to relax within the practice. So relax through sensation, into sensation, and beyond sensation. As long as we keep softening, really softening the body, well, then energy can flow more easily within us, which means softening thoughts as well. When you notice your mind is interpreting something, just see if you can note those thoughts, just a simple word, you're thinking. And then put the thoughts down, or at least turn your attention back to the breath. So then you keep present with the sensation that's prompting those thoughts. And then you can soften into that sensation, by which I mean to say you're not trying to change it, you're just trying not to resist it, as it were. You're letting it flow within you, as water flows, without yourself, through the words, building up a barrier, or through tightening against it. You're just trying to kind of soften the pull of aversion in a way, or the pull of desire to want to change things to a different sensation. If we can soften those two impulses on the pendulum of the mind, as it were, the push and pull factor of the mind, we can just sit steady between that swinging of the mind from one to the other. Well, really opens up such a freedom within ourselves, because we're no longer as bound by the habits of the mind. We're free, in a sense, of those habits. Then all that mental energy that's either wanting and clinging on to, looking for something, or else your mental energy that's pushing away, we don't really like it, so we're kind of shying away from something. All of that energy gets freed up. It's almost like an alchemy, isn't it? You put all that into the pot then, and, well, it gives more energy for those lovely qualities to develop within the mind as the antidote to that push and pull factor. Forbearance, my favourite word of the moment, patience, equanimity, those kind of qualities, tranquility, that come when the mind is less ruffled, as it were, the surface of the mind is less ruffled by the push and pull. So, enough words for now. Hands coming up to the heart. As you sit with hands in prayer, Anjali Mudra, you can find a lift up into the spine, up into the skull, up to the crown of the head, almost like you're being pulled up by an imaginary cord. And as you hold this shape within the body, you can let your eyes shut. And you may notice there are pockets of contraction within you, maybe some muscle effort to hold this shape. Maybe some contraction within the mind. But as a witness, your role is to observe how the mind is, the natural states of the mind, not trying to change any of this by the force of our will or our thought power. Just witnessing. And within the space of the body, the vessel of the body, there are so many flavors of mind. We need all of these ingredients to feel wholeness. And accepting all of these ingredients, we are whole. No longer needing to resist. We look, be anything else other than what is. You bow your head down to greet the hands and to greet the heart. And bowing a little bit further, as if you're bowing to the earth. You can take your time here to unfold into this bend, this bowing action. And let the out breath escape through the mouth as a sigh. And then, placing hands on the knees and the eyes opening, we'll start to draw up and into the spine till we come back to an upright seat again. And we're just going to curve the spine. So we're drawing into the belly and the shoulders will fall forwards and the chin will tuck to the throat. And then we breathe our way out of that to find lift and space between each of the vertebrae. We're going to do this for a few moments time. Letting your breath be relaxed and natural. You may find almost instinctively that you tend to breathe out as you fold inwards, as the spine curves. And then breathing in. You may find that the spine naturally wants to follow that in-breath to lift up. Do one more together. And from here, we take the knees together, we take the legs out in front of us. Our toes are flexing up towards the ceiling. And we'll take left hand over to the right knee. Now right arm will take a big circle up and behind us, arriving on the mat behind us. And so the spine will naturally arrive into a twist. We're not trying to push into this twist to accentuate the lines. We're just sitting here, doing that little squeeze along the spinal column. Letting our breath flow deep within the body, down into the belly. And start to windmill your right arm over, and so it will come to rest on the left knee. Arms are crossing here. And then bend your elbows. And bending the elbows will take the spine forwards a little bit. To that point where you feel the backs of the hamstrings waking up a little bit. And then let the head relax down. Chin resting into the throat. And You can take another deep out breath through the mouth, sighing out the breath. And then finding your way back up again into sitting and keeping the right hand on the left knee. And this time the left arm will circle up and around the body. And that will take you into the twist to the left hand side. You may notice then that there are tendencies to want to go a little bit deeper, to twist into this a little bit deeper, almost like then there's that thought that that's going to do more benefit, as it were. Just remember or hold that another counter thought in mind, that often less is more. And actually, the mind's not doing the unraveling, the body's doing the unraveling. So giving space to the body to express itself here. Our role to witness that. Left arm can start to windmill over again. Come to rest on the right knee. And again, as you bend your elbows, you can slide the hands a little bit down the legs maybe, till you find that point where hamstrings wake up. And then we're going to put a little bit of swaying movement from side to side into that sensation of stretch along the backs of the legs or the back of the spine. And you may naturally find that you want to breathe out and sigh out the breath, just letting breath escape through the mouth. We come to a center point, a still point, and unwrap the hands. So now they're either sides of the legs. And then we'll slide the hands up and over the legs to come back up and into sitting. We'll just rub around the back of the kidneys. And then hands coming back to the knees. And we cross the legs again or come into any comfortable seat. The hands are on the knees now and your head is just looking straight ahead. It's a little moment to activate the vagus nerve, which is that nerve that runs down from the neck, heart, down into the abdomen. It's often connected with the reptilian brain, so that fight or flight response. So it's a lovely nerve actually to just kind of relax, so then everything kind of goes down again. So placing one hand on the throat and with the other hand, if you trace down along the side of the neck with your fingertips, over the other hand, the throat, down the front of the body to the heart. Just pausing there, and then coming down to the abdomen. And just connect the current of energy between the lower hand and the hand on the throat. And then we'll take both hands around the back of the neck. That feels too stiff on the arms to take them both up. You could just put one hand up and put the other one down. Now the head's going to remain in a neutral position here, but the eyes are going to turn to the right hand side. We're just going to hold the eyes there. We're going to keep breathing. Make sure your head doesn't turn with the eyes. And blink as you need to. And you may note at some point, kind of feel like yawning, or maybe you do yawn or sigh out. Doesn't matter if that doesn't happen this time. Just come back to the center line with the eyes. And again, holding the head steady. You may want to interlace the fingers the opposite way. They're both behind the head. We're now going to turn the eyes over to the left, keeping the head still. You're just breathing there quite naturally, holding your gaze out to the left. And again, you may find that the body wants to quite instinctively yawn or sigh. So you engage the parasympathetic nervous system. Then we come back to the center line. And we release both hands and we all breathe out through the mouth. So you may have kind of read things about the vagus nerve, and that's often associated with relieving anxiety, those held patterns of stress or worry within the body. Another deep in-breath and into the out-breath. Just tune in with the feeling tone of the body. And doing that, we'll take another breath. And then from here, we're going to find our way onto forward fours. We're very far away today, so I'm pulling that a little bit. And we're finding our way onto all fours and into a neutral position. And once we're there, we're just going to take the spine forwards and backwards. You're just going to breathe quite naturally here, so you don't need to coordinate with your breath. But just note if you tend to move quicker than your breath, there's that sense of rushing into the movement, as it were, and then it gets its own momentum. But then you're just going to slow down that little bit. So letting your breath be the guide, as it were, of the movement as you come forwards and backwards. Now, from forwards and backwards, we'll start to curve the spine up. And we'll then drop the belly to the floor as we move. You can go faster or slower than I'm doing. You're letting your body find the shape of cow. You're not feeling that you've got to find, bring your breath, coordination of breath into any of this. Just a free movement of body and breath. Letting the rhythm of the body, or the rhythm of the mind maybe instructing the body, find synergy with the breath. Whenever you note that your mind is racing ahead again, and therefore the body is probably moving that little bit quicker, maybe a thought popped into the head, then keep finding your breath, resetting with the breath. We'll find our way down into child in the next moment or so. And with the head lifted, skull lifted, we're now going to drop the skull down towards the mat. It doesn't matter if you can't reach that, just the intention of doing so. You can rest the third eye point lightly on the floor. Your body's alert here, the mind's alert here. It's just a gentle resting of weight. We'll scoop the belly now as close as you can to the floor to come back onto all fours. And then we neutralize the spine. Just rock a little bit forwards and backwards, maybe from side to side. But you're inhabiting all four corners of this square of the body. And then move down into your left hand, and right arm will lift up in front of you. Now just note how the body responds to that. And see if you can still hold the steady pathway of the breath. To keep the arm lifted without forcing the arm to lift. Right hand coming down. Again, just shift weight from side to side. Then forwards and backwards. And then as you root down to your right hand, the left arm will lift up. We'll just see how it feels to keep the left arm lifting. Using the breath as your gauge. One more breath. And left hand will come down. So again, just forwards and backwards, side to side. Let's clear the sensation palette, as it were. Before we meet back on the all fours stance. And this time as we lift the left arm, the right leg will lift out behind us. So now you've got this point from fingertips to the toes of the opposite leg. And you'll feel the body working quite hard in the middle to lift both. Steady breath, relaxed breath. Both leg and arm coming down. We'll tuck the toes under now and we'll start to walk the hands back. Either keep a little bit of weight on the fingertips or else hands will come up to the knees. And we'll breathe the shoulders up and back here to open up into the chest. And then breathe in your arms up above the head. And slowly let them fall down, using your core to control that falling down to come back onto all fours. Just adjust your stance if you need to at all. And we're going to do the same, lifting right arm and left leg, opposites on the other side. But we're just really looking to lift them. We're not looking to kind of lift them up too hard. Make really much effort. Like a passive lifting. You'll note the body's working. All those muscle groups are really working quite hard to keep this lift. And the body breathe itself. You will just to witness it. Bring right hand down, left knee down. Just sway a little bit from side to side here. Ease out through the body. And then, right leg will lift out behind you again. Left arm will lift out behind you. And then left hand will come down to the mat. Now you can either plant your right foot behind the left foot here, or you may want to keep the right leg lifted, in which case, either way, we're using the core muscles to bring the right hand down and just see how much we can relax it. You can swing it a little bit, and float it a little bit. And then at some point, you may want to lift it up. Again, you'll feel the body is working. There'll probably be a few trembles here if you haven't utilized these muscles for a while. I know mine is. Just letting the body do its thing without getting too involved in it. Quite a passive stretching in a way. Keep your breath flowing. Right hand will come down and the left knee and the right hand and right knee will come down and we're back onto all fours. Again, just move your way out of that sensation. Clear the palate. Maybe moving the spine from side to side, backwards and forwards. And then we're going to come round to do the other side. Just a breath or so there. And this time, left arm will lift up with the right leg. So I think I did that wrong actually. Right arm will lift up with the left leg. Excuse me. We'll just take these few breaths of lifting, feeling the body. Noticing any differences from side to side, but not trying to kind of then correct that. Just noting this is what the body is in a way. Right hand can come down, and then you can either plant the left foot again behind the right foot, or else you can keep it lifted. We'll all bring this left hand down, so it's just going to swing a little bit. You can kind of see how much has been held in that left shoulder. And you may feel to lift the left arm up. And again, we're just observing all the muscle groups working maybe to keep the weight of the body in this shape. Breathing, breathing fully. Left hand coming down. Left knee follows, and a bit of easing out through the body again from side to side. Out breath, coming back to the heels, and a deep out breath through the mouth. One more very full and rich and deep breath in. From here, we look forwards and we start to slide the spine forwards. And we all arrive down on the belly, hands underneath the shoulders. And here we lift into a baby cobra. Breathing our way in and then breathing our way back down again. Let's do this a couple more times, so in your own time. Find our way to a cobra. And then we ease back down. When arriving back down, forehead on the mat in front of you, or else you can turn the head to the sides. We'll lift the arms up and we'll lift the legs up. Use hands, look up, and we breathe into Cobra again. And from Cobra, we find our way into a stance so we can start to lift the knees, to come into down dog with bent knees. And once we arrive, we'll just put a little bit of bounce into the balls of the feet. Really shake out the backs of the legs, the front of the legs, the pelvis. Let everything turn to jelly here. And then we pause and lift the heels as high as we can. And then we start to release heels down to the mat. Same time, drawing our belly back. So if we're trying to move towards the thighs behind us. Deep out breath through the mouth, cleansing out breath. Breathe in and look forwards. And stepping the feet up towards the top of the mat, you can offer the spine and then fold down the length of the legs. Root down both feet as you start to lift up. Arms will follow. And breathing out, hands will come back and to the heart. Centering your feet, rooting the body. And then stretching up the right hand as the left reaches down. And then switching sides with the hands. Take your time here again. Reach from side to side. Palm can flex in both hands. Then, with one hand lifted, you can reach up the other hand to join that hand. Once you're there, we'll catch hold of the right wrist, and with palm facing down on the right hand, we'll lean over towards the left, hips reaching out towards the right. Come back to center line, catch hold of your left wrist, and then take the left palm out towards the right as you lean towards the left. Gain your fill sensation, sometimes quite intense here, I always think. So then just stand back from that so you're not pushing into it, as it were. Go right back to the center line. And opening the hands now, so it's a big V shape. We're looking up, the chest will tilt up. And then see if you can hold the gaze upright, up towards the sky as you lift your heels. See if you can keep the inner edges of the heels connected, inner edges of the legs connected. Heels drop, gaze still looks up. And we breathe out and take the hands down the center line and into a forward fold. And put a little bit of bend through the knees as you arrive in your forward fold. Keep your left hand on the left side of the foot and lift your right arm up to come into a side twist. See if you can turn your gaze up towards the fingertips and your peripheral vision. And then release the right hand down. That's coming to rest on the little toe edge of the right foot and the left arm's lifting up. Again, you may catch sight of the fingertips of the left hand above you in your peripheral vision. Riding back and down into forward fold. Tuck the chin into the throat. You may want to swivel the feet round to face the short edge of the mat, gill knot. In breath, off-through the spine. Holding that shape, maybe a breath or so, light, easy breaths. And then hands coming down to the mat. root down, and we'll step back into down dog. Now roll in action in down dog to roll forwards into a plank, high plank. Then as you arrive, you'll bend your knees and take the spine back and the body back into down dog. You'll arrive and then you'll move through again into the plank, rolling through, drawing back. Come down to rest at any point you want to. We'll do one more round, a third round. And arriving back in down dog, another deep out breath through the mouth. In breath sees both knees coming down to the mat. And then coming back to the heels with the out breath. Followed again, will lightly rest on the mat. You can. We're looking forwards and we're coming back into cobra again. So we'll slide the body through, right into a cobra. And again we come down to the mat. And this time we come into a full locust, arms coming out behind us, legs lifting and the chest lifting. As we come down to the mat, feel the body soften. And we breathe our way into another cobra. And from cobra, arriving into down dog. Another deep out breath through the mouth. We'll look forwards, we'll lift the heels, and we'll step the feet up towards the top of the mat, offering the spine forwards, and then forward folding. Coming up to rise, arms up above the head. This time, as the hands come down, we're going to root into the left foot and lift the right knee up. You may find you can interlace the fingers to draw the knee up that little bit higher into the chest. Going to step this right foot back now. Take your time to feel your way out behind you. And the right foot will arrive on the mat and we'll plant it down. Kind of takes us into the stance for warrior two here. So just with my way around, I can actually see you all. So in this kind of stance, it may not be your widest stance. In warrior two, I'm just going to let the arms float out here and I'll weight release downwards. So real earthing through the legs into the knee. May want to shuffle your feet forward a little bit if your knees overshooting the ankle. Make sure you can really, truly feel the soles of the feet earthing you. And in breath here, we'll see us into dancing warrior. Front palm will lift up, back to the back leg. And then this front arm will rest on the front thigh. As the back arm stretches up past the ear. So a big line here from the back foot up through the side of the body, out through the fingertips. We'll then come back again Keeping the weight low. Front arm will lift up. Moving through sensation, not fighting the sensation. Kind of thinking it shouldn't be there, but just noting it as it arises. Right arm will come down. As the right arm comes down, we'll take the left hand down to the big toe edge of the front foot. You could put a block underneath that left hand there. And again, we're just going to swing this right arm forwards and backwards a little bit. From there, we'll lift it up. And again, you may catch hold of the fingertips, catch sight of the fingertips in your peripheral vision. Right hand will come down. As your right hand comes down, rotate your back foot. Brain the front foot with the hands. A little bit of core work as we lift up the arms, so they're just hanging down. The legs will be maybe shouting a bit at you. Use your core to see if you can lift up into a high lunge balanced on the ball of the back foot, to the heels lifted. In breath, arms lift up. Can keep the back foot planted if you prefer. Keeping it all as soft as you can. Hands turn to the right hand side of the body. Soft arms so that they're floating on the air. Keep the weight low. And release the arms down, or stretch them up, back to the high lunge. And from here, we're going to step the back foot forward. So stringiness in the back leg, root down. Right foot will come to join the left foot. Coming back into the sway through the spine. Arms will come over to one side. Right back, and then over to the other side. Rising back, open up both arms. And we'll take the hands back and into the heart. As you arrive in the heart, as if your hands were a rudder, guiding the head to sway from one side to the other. Give yourself a few moments here. Leaning weight through the crown, through the skull, one side to the other. And just feeling the body follow. And come back and arrive at our center line. Feel both feet glued to the mat. May want to come up to the top of the mat again. Feet together. We breathe in and we lift the arms up above the head. Nice big V shape. Let the gaze follow up. And as we bring the fingers together and interlace them, we'll now root down into the right leg and we'll lift the left knee up into the core. You might just keep the knee lifted without using the hands, or you might draw the hands around the leg. Let that little bit more lift up through the knee. Everything is relaxed as you can. We'll then release the hands. And we're stepping that left foot back into the space behind us. Just feeling our way into the space. And then peeling the foot down onto the mat. Keep balance. Root down through both legs as much as you can. You may note again you have to shuffle the toes forward on the front leg so that knee isn't overshooting the foot, as it were. Low weight, arms coming out to either sides of the body. Kind of occupy that thinking part of the mind that will kind of be oh, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, oh, my legs, and all the rest of it. Just do simple noting words there. Thinking, feeling, earthing, anything to kind of keep that thinking part of the mind quite busy, occupied, so then it doesn't lead you off and away from just witnessing the sensations of the body. Going to come into dancing warrior now, the front palm turning up, lifting up, the weight still low through the body. As then the front arm will come, cross the front thigh, back arm lifts up and over. Long line, keep the weight low, you can lunge into the front knee. Withdraw up, another out. Yes, your mind will want to race. That's kind of the point of it in a way. I know I'm feeling there. You can almost get into a panic mode when you feel like an intense sensation. My favourite word of the day, forbearance, in a way. It's kind of staying with the body, keeping relaxed within the body, rather than reacting, as it were. In breath, out breath. We'll just pause here in this side stretch here, just letting the weight of the body root down through the feet. Another breath. And then the right hand comes down to the big toe edge of the right front foot. Can come onto a block, remember. And we're just swinging this left arm. Use gravity there to release it. And then you can lift it up. You may turn the gaze up. Catch sight of the fingers in your peripheral vision. Deep lunging down through the front leg. Next breath. And both hands come down to frame the front leg. Now you're rotating that back foot around. So it's parallel with the long edges of the mat. And once you're there, you anchor the balls of the back foot down strongly. Just lift up that little bit so the arms are hanging. Then use the core to lift the arms up into the high lunge. Earth down. Breath on. We'll take the hands out to the left-hand side, almost like they're floating on the air. A little bit of a squeeze into the spine there. Strong legs. Drop them down. One more high lunge. And then we're earthing the hands down. Keep going slowly and softly. Hands release down. And enjoy that release out as you arrive in your down dog. A deep out breath through the mouth. Little bend through the knees. And both knees will drop down to the mat. You're finding your way now into a free movement of cat and cow here. And we all meet coming down into child. If your forehead is resting on the mat in child, or wherever the forehead is, feel the softness through the forehead in contact with the floor. Then breathing in, we'll lift back up again and into sitting. We're releasing the legs out in front of us now. And hands coming to the tops of the thighs, the crease of the thighs with the hips. And just squeeze our way down the tops of the thighs, down towards the feet. And wherever you feel to, you can just put a little bend into your elbows there. A little shake of the head from side to side. And then in breath, we're finding our way up again into sitting. Now, if you have got a block here, we're going to come into a bridge, and I always think it is quite nice to have a supported bridge. You can be working the legs quite hard. It doesn't matter if you haven't got a block here, you can just come into a usual bridge. If you have got the block, after lifting the pelvis, you may want to just shuffle the block underneath so the sacrum is resting on the rim of the block. Your arms could be above the head or by the sides of the body. Let your chin lift away from the throat bone. A lot of opening there and along the front of the body. Next breath, if you've got the block, you just lift up and slide it down. And if you're in your bridge, slowly all start to roll the spine down. And then we hug the knees into the chest. You're just rocking from side to side, massaging out the lower spine as you do so. From here, catching hold of the outer edges of the feet, else the back of the thighs. We lift the feet up, we open out the knees, and we're like in a happy baby here. I always like to kind of still put a little bit of rocking almost from side to side, so kind of keep that massaging out of the lower spine. Your next breath, bring the knees in together, and then we'll take the feet down to the mat. So arriving into a twist now, we'll take the arms out to the sides of the body. Then we'll cross one leg over the other. Now squeeze the thighs together. We'll then drop them down to the right hand side. This left arm will want to lift up off the mat. So allowing it to lift, but just then letting it become full of weight, as it were. See if you can feel the entire body and the mind side, not just for one part where the sensation might be the most acute. You can arrive back to your center line here. Run across the legs now, arms still out to either sides. We're crossing now the right leg on top of the left and squeezing them together. We drop the knees down to the left. The right arm will probably want to lift up, and then letting it become heavy. Gaze over towards the left shoulder. You'll probably notice here how sensation does change. It's not fixed or permanent. Likewise, how our perception maybe of it changes when we give ourselves space. Just be present. You may find when we give ourselves that space, we can relax into it more fully, while rather than react against it. We come back to the center line again and uncross the legs. And legs uncross, we'll bring the hands down to the belly as we stretch out the legs. Moment to let your breath settle. And feel the hands rising and falling with the breath on the belly. And opening the arms out, either sides of the body. Keep this center point of awareness in the belly as you lie in rest. If you'd like to have a longer shavasana, then do carry on lying down. Otherwise, bring in a little movement into the body, coming to one side of the body. And then we're all meet in a comfortable seat. It's okay, we're just going to come back to this vagus nerve exercise. So from that comfortable seat and the gaze in front, head steady. Take the eyes out to the right hand side. Just making sure you don't move the head with the eyes. Just keep breathing there, in and out. You may find you naturally yawn or sigh, or there's just a sense that you want to. We come back to the center line. We just do the same on the other side, the gaze coming out towards the left. Do this little and often, this exercise. So it's like kind of a resetting of the nervous system. All that fight and flight, reactivity. I think we all often get caught up in without even noticing half the time. All it takes is a red traffic light to sink the ship. Love breath. Also, we come back to the center line. And here at the center line, just a moment to bring hands up and into prayer. And finding heart contact, maybe a slight inclination of head to heart. And resting in the wellspring of the heart's energy. Inside, outside, boundless. And here, closing your practice. Namaste.